Testing. 1 2 1 2. Make sure everything is working good. And make sure everything is working good. One two 1 2. Okay, go right here. Give me 1 second. All right, all praises. Everything is working. All right, all praises. This is Moray Yacob and ITFTR Network. I thank you for joining me today. This is, make sure as when you come into the building, you press that. Make sure I got a lot of air coming in. Okay. All praises. All right, I just want to make sure as when you come into the building, you press that like and subscribe button, and also the share button as well. Okay. Okay. We're going to talk about fringes today, but before we get started, let me blow the shofar. We thank the Creator for each one of you for coming in. Shalom, shalom to each one of you. Happy Shabbat. Shalom, shalom to Sister Joanne Smith. We thank the Creator for each one of you today. Shalom, shalom to Trey Habashin, Sephora, and Zayden. Happy Shabbat to each one of you. Make sure as when you come into the building, you press that like and that subscribe button. We thank the Creator for okay, I see why. Okay, we thank the Creator for each one of you. Shalom, shalom to Sister Latoya G. Happy Shabbat. Make sure as when you come into the building, you press that like and subscribe button. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the fringes. Yes. We're going to be talking about fringes. Is it lawful or not? Is it lawful? Why did the Creator mandated fringes on the garments of Israel? Why, family? Why did he do it? Well, we're going to talk about that tonight. Fringes. So before we get started, we're going to, let me make sure if anybody wants to come up and have a chat with me tonight on fringes, I'm going to put the link in the chat. You're more than welcome to come on up and we can have that conversation. Link is just now being put in the chat. So we're talking about fringes tonight, family. Fringes. Why did the Creator tell or mandate Israel the fringes of their garment. Okay? Well, why? Because if you go on these corners, this what you will hear. Fair use, fair use. This is not my material. Speak. This is not my material. I claim no rights to this material. But this is for educational purposes only. This is for teaching purposes only, to be able to produce the truth. Shalom, shalom to Joel Smith. Shalom, shalom to Sister Shamar Bowman and Emery. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. This is IUIC. Because see, when you go to these folks, they're going to tell you this right here. This is what you're going to hear. Where your fringes at? That's what they're going to tell you. Where your fringes? You got your fringes on? But they would never tell you, family, why did the Creator mandate fringes? We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. But for right now, let's get into the video. Okay? Let's get into the video, family. Because we're gonna dissect this thing. Okay? Turn it down a little bit. Let's get into it. Let's go. Fair use, fair use.
Unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
So we have to be made fringes on the border of our garments. That was a culture that the Native Americans understood, and our foreparents understood as well before we got destroyed in slavery. We wore fringes, all right? It's symbolic of something. Right?
Throughout their generation.
Through what?
Throughout their generation.
So what that means throughout your generation.
Yeah. So to the next generation.
And then the next one.
Yeah.
And then the next one.
Okay, so
and then the next one, right?
So what is your mission right now?
Our mission is to,
as y'all stand on the green right now.
all right. Our mission is to first of all wake you to your true nationality. To bring you back to Israel, which is your nationality. You're an Israelite according to the Bible.
Flesh or in the spirit?
You're the flesh of Israelite.
Now, it's two things, family, in this video I wanted you to pay attention to. He told this man who he was. This is what he said. You an Israelite, according to the Bible. And then he told you that the fringes has a purpose. I'm going to let it run again. Because I don't want to chop up nobody's words tonight, because we're going to let the Bible speak. We're going to let the law speak tonight. So let's hear this video again.
One of the laws he was talking about.
Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
So we have to be made fringes on the border of our garments. That was a culture that the Native Americans understood, and our foreparents understood as well before we got destroyed in slavery. We wore fringes, all right? It's symbolic of something, right?
Notice he said it's symbolic of something. But notice he never got into what it's symbolic for. They'll never tell you that. But this ain't the only video I'm gonna show you of these guys, because they will always jam you up when it comes to fringes. That's what they'll do, family. They'll jam you up when it comes to fringes. That's what they'll do. They will jam you up when it comes to fringes. Where your fringes at? Let's go.
Throughout their generation.
Through what?
Throughout their generation.
So he says throughout their generations. So right there, they tell you everybody in your generation is supposed to wear fringes. So the next generation, they all supposed to have on fringes. And the generation after that, they all supposed to have on fringes. This is what they say. This is how they read the scriptures. See, this is how you know who don't know the law. This is how you know when you're listening to novices. They just repeat what somebody told them. And you got a bunch of people following and regurgitating a nothing burger. And I'm gonna show you why I say it's a nothing burger. I'm not speaking ill on fringes. No. I'm speaking ill on when you regurgitate something, but you don't have the common sense or the decency to even look into why the Creator gave you that fringe law. So when you begin to talk to me about fringes, my first question going to be to you is, why did he give us the law? Every law that the Creator gave us was for a purpose and a reason. But the question is, are we asking the reason or the reasoning for fringes? And see, when you don't ask for the reasoning and you got people like this in front of you, let's keep going. Because the brother who was right there asked a very powerful question. What is y'all mission? Watch this.
What that means throughout your generation.
Yeah. So to the next generation.
And then the next one.
Yeah.
And then the next one.
Okay, so
and then the next one, right?
So what is your mission right now?
Our mission is
He asked him, what is your mission right now? Now watch what he tell him what is their mission. Let's go.
Y'all stand on the green right now.
all right. Our mission is to first of all wake you to your true nationality.
He said, wake you up to your true nationality. He said that's their mission, is to wake you up to your true nationality. Now show me a scripture that tells me I'm supposed to come and wake you up to your true nationality on the street corners. I'll wait on that. Show me a scripture that teaches me that I'm supposed to wake you up to your true nationality. I know you'll go to the scripture in Ezekiel. He gonna send out fishermen and hunters, but I'm gonna talk about that in a minute, but not just yet. Because Moses gave us the diagram of what we're supposed to do. Because watch this. Let's keep going. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Bring you back to Israel, which is your nationality.
He said, bring you back to Israel, which is your true nationality.
You're an Israelite according to the Bible.
He said he's an Israelite according to the Bible. Now, I'm going to ask a question. How do he know he's an Israelite? How do he know he's an Israelite? The only way you can know that somebody is something that if they understood the bloodline of that person. Because every Native American in America, who they call Native Americans, not those ones on the reservation, we talking about the actual real Indians, so-called Indians, the Aboriginals. Those all Aboriginal people in America were not the same people. They were not of the same nation. They were not of one tribe. Just like every African nation in Africa are not the same people. So how could he look at this man and tell this man that he's an Israelite? Without even doing research on this man's family. Let me start my sharing right here. Okay. Let me go back. Shalom, shalom to Brother Caesar Shiva. Happy Shabbat. Make sure when you come into the building, you press that like button. Press that subscribe button. Let's get into the next video. Let's get into the next video. See, you got to pay attention to these people. Because, see, they'll come and tell you anything. They'll come and tell you everything. Just for you to become a part of what they got going on. Fair use, we still under the Fair Use Act. We ain't taking no credit for none of these videos. We just, this right here just for teaching purposes and educational purposes only. Okay? So let's go.
15 verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
This is fringes. God, this is the laws of God. God said, make them fringes and put it around your garment, around your clothes.
Throughout their generation.
When?
Throughout their generation.
What does that mean throughout your generation? Kids, up to date. Read.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
This is fringes. God, this is the laws of God. God said, make them fringes and put it around your garment, around your clothes.
Throughout their generation.
When?
Throughout their generation.
What does that mean throughout your generation? Kids, up to date. Read.
So he's saying that you're supposed to have fringes on throughout your generation. But notice one thing they never do, family. They never tell you why the Creator gave that law. They never give you that reason. Why? Let me share one more video. Share one more video. Okay. We're still in the Fair Use Act. That's right. Let's go.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel.
Now, Israel, which you already know, read.
What does the Lord thy God require of thee?
Because God requires us to do something, right? Read.
But to fear the Lord thy
So
God.
we got to fear him, and we got to show that we fear him by our actions. Read.
To walk in all his ways.
His ways, not our own ways, because our ways are not his. Read.
And to love him.
We have to love him. Loving him is keeping his commandments. Read.
And to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
So as a servant, you do what you're told from God, right? So if you went to a restaurant and the person that comes up to you to ask you for your order, what are they called? They're servants. So you tell them, I want this, they do it, right? So just like that servant, we got to be like that. What you want me to do, Lord? I'll do it. Read.
But see, I want y'all to hear what he's saying. When the Creator tells you to do something, you're supposed to do it. But we're going to get into that. See, they always tell you what you're supposed to do. But there's one thing that they're missing. Let's go.
Serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. To keep the commandments of the Lord. So we got to keep the commandments all the time. Read. And his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. So we have to keep the commandments every day. Every day. So we're going to get the commandment and law, and it's going to be the last thing we got to wrap up. Go ahead. Numbers 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments. So it's a commandment to wear fringes in the borders of our garments, right? Our shirts, right? Go ahead. Throughout. What? Throughout their generation. Throughout our generation. So when I have a child, he puts on fringes, or her, and then when they grow up, they're going to teach them the same thing. So it's going to continue that cycle through the generation. Right. Read. And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. So a ribbon of blue on top of the fringes. Read. And it shall be unto you a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord. So when you see those fringes on your garment, on your shirt, you will remember that, oh, today is the Sabbath. I can't buy, sell, or cook today. So it'll help you, remind you, because when the fringes got instituted, the brother was picking up sticks on the Sabbath to cook, which you're not supposed to do. So he said, you know what? God said, you're going to put fringes on to remind you of those commandments. Right. Because that brother picking up sticks on the Sabbath to cook, he got put to death for breaking the Sabbath. Right. So the Sabbath is very important. Read. Remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them. And that ye seek not after your own heart. So after your own heart would be like, you know what? I ain't going to wear them today. I'll wear them tomorrow. I'll wear them the next day. But God said this is throughout our generations. Read. And your own eyes.
Throughout your generations don't mean every day, family. Let me rewind that again, just in case some of y'all missed it. Throughout your generation, it's not talking about every day, family. But let's let them cook.
So after your own heart would be like, you know what? I ain't gonna wear them today. I'll wear them tomorrow. I'll wear them the next day. But God said this is throughout our generations. Read.
And your own eyes. After which ye used to go a whoring.
Because we go a whoring by serving other gods like Easter and all these pagan holidays, because we forgot our God. Right. We forgot the commandments. Read.
That ye may remember.
That you may what?
Remember.
So in order to remember, you have to have this something to look at. This is a self-reminder what's on your garment, because even the native Indians wore fringes.
Right.
All the time.
See, they're always going back to the native Indians. They wore fringes. let me let them cook. Let me let them cook, because I'm gonna say something about the native Indians. Let's keep going.
Read.
And do all my commandments.
And do all the commandments. You understand that, Ezreal?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you gotta wear your fringes every day.
But I don't. You know, if a man say he has no sin in him, then that man is also a liar, man. You know what I'm saying? We all got sin. Even though we focus on fringes every day, look at me right now. I'm not fringed out. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me this out here on the street. But I am also Israelite. You know what I'm
Give me a Sarah. All right. Listen, for sure, the last question. You know what? Man's attire, the date, is 19.
The man just sat there and told him that, yeah, just because I don't have my fringes, I sinned. He said, but we all sin. So it doesn't matter if I don't have my fringes on. But let's keep going.
Ecclesiastes, this was a rock. 19 verse 29.
Because you said we can't tell you. You might have the beard, but I seen a brother yesterday. I saw his fringes, and I was like, "Shalom, bro." He's like, "Hey, shalom." So we knew each other. But if you ain't got no fringes, because you ain't, then I won't know that you know about the commandments, right? Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 19 verse 29. A man may be known by his look.
So a man may be known by his look. So when you see a police officer wearing a police uniform, you know he's a police officer. Right. Same thing with a fireman. Same thing with a brother in a suit. You know, oh, he about business. Go ahead.
And one that has understanding.
And one that has understanding.
by his countenance.
So how he carries himself in his wardrobe, you know, oh, he know about Numbers 15:38. He has understanding. He got some understanding. Read.
When thou meetest him,
So when I meet you and you got fringes on, I see, hey, oh, okay, hey, where you study at? How long you been studying? You're an Israelite. Shalom, bro. Read.
a man's attire,
A man's what?
attire,
A man's attire.
and excessive laughter, and gait, show what he is.
So his attire show what you are. So when you see a police officer, he's wearing a police uniform, so you know that's a police officer. When I see fringes on the brother, I'll be like, oh, he an Israelite. I know he's an Israelite.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But that's our time. We gotta shut it down. You gotta fly, my brother. Go and get the fly.
So you heard what he said. A man is known by his attire. Okay? I played that so we can see that. You are known by your attire. He said police officers wear their uniforms and firemen wear their uniforms and nurses wear their uniforms. And anybody, and if you're an Israelite, fringes is your uniform, is what he say. Okay? But the Bible never said fringes were your uniform. The Bible never said you're going to be identified by fringes on your clothes. I want y'all to pay attention to that very closely. Okay? But let me go back to something real quick. Let's go to the book of Judges. The book of Judges, the 6th chapter, verse 36 through 40. The book of Judges, 36 through 40. Because, see, I asked the question, why did the Creator give you fringes? The first brother said in the first video, if you are a servant, you just do what you ask, what you're told. You see, it's throughout your generations. That's what he say. Then the brother say, well, you're going to be known by your attire. And fringes is what make you an Israelite. That's how I can identify you being an Israelite, because of your attire. A fringes on. The book of Judges, the 6th chapter, verse 36 through 40. This is just one of examples. There are many examples in the Bible where the Creator gave an order that the one who was given the order make sure that was the Creator. So the book of Judges, the 6th chapter, verse 36 through 40, it says, so Gideon said to the Creator, you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said. Look, I shall put a fleece of wool on the threshing floor. If there is dew on the fleece only, and it is dry on all the ground, then I shall know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said. In other words, he's asking the Creator, look, if I do this and this happened, then I know that's you. You see? Then I know that's you. Then he said, verse 38, and it was so, when he rose early in the next morning and squeezed the fleece together, he wrung the dew out of the fleece and a bowl full of water. Then Gideon said to the Creator, do not be angry with me, but let me speak just once more. Let me test, I pray, just once more with the fleece. Let it now be dry only, the fleece. But on the ground, let there be dew. And the Creator did that right that night. It was dry on the fleece only, but there was dew all on the ground. So I brought this scripture out just for a moment to show you that when the Creator give you something, family, you should ask the question, why? But you know what we do? We'll sit there and say, yeah. This is what we're supposed to do throughout your generations. Okay, cool. But why did he give us this? Why did he give us the law? The brother said to remember the commandments. But let's go to the law. Let's go to Numbers. Let's go to the fringe law. Numbers 15. Let's go to the fringe law. Because we think that the scripture says I have to make sure it's all over the Bible. You know, I got to make sure it's throughout the generation, meaning that when I have children, my children got to wear it. When I have grandchildren, my grandchildren have to wear it, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Because that's what's going to identify me and my bloodline and my children and etc. as being Israelites. But that's farther from the truth, family. That's farther from the truth. Because the Bible tells me that the Bible tells me that the fringes was given for a reason. And let's look at the reason. Numbers 15, 38 through 40. He says, speak unto the children of Israel and bid. Now, what that word bid means? What do bid means? What do bid means? What do the word bid means? That word bid means to command. That word bid means to call or to simply speak. So he told Israel, he said, command them that they make them fringes in the border of their garments. Okay? Command them and tell them to put fringes on the border of their garments throughout their generations. And that they put what? Upon the fringe, the border of the blue ribbon. So they'll tell you, oh yeah, see, we got to make sure we put the fringes on our garments. And we have to make sure we put the ribbon of blue on our garments. See, because that's what makes us keeping the law. So verse 39 says, and it shall be upon you for a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Creator. He didn't say some, he said all. So what? What do you mean? They right there in Exodus. Why you ask that? Exodus, the 20th chapter. That you remember all the commandments of the Creator. And he said, and do them. So the fringe is there for you to remember. Okay? Watch this though. And then he says, and that you seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to go a-whoring. Now, when did Israel go a-whoring? Because remember, they were coming from out of Egypt. When did Israel go a-whoring? Somebody put in the chat if you know the answer. Sister Latoya put up Esther, the 8th chapter, verse 17. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decrees came, the Jews had paid and gladness a feast and a good day, and many of the people. And the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. Can you identify these people by fringes? I'm sure they wore fringes as well. Correct. Because remember, these people were taught how to live in your land. These people were taught how to live in your land. So my question now becomes, if people were in your land, how do you distinguish them from being Israel? Brother Trey says to offer a price, command, or express a greeting. Not really, Brother Trey. It means to command. Okay. Sister Natalia put up Numbers 11:20. But even a whole month until it come out of your nostrils, and it be loathsome unto you, because that ye have what? Despised the Creator which is among you, and have what? Wept before him, saying why we came forth out of Egypt. See, the point is, Israel went a whoring in the wilderness. Okay? They went a whoring in the wilderness. And what was the biggest whoring that Israel went into the wilderness? It's when they made the golden calves. So, when they made the golden calves, that's when, remember, Moses was on the mountain. And Israel was left down at the bottom with Aaron and the elders. And they thought Moses wasn't coming back. And when they thought Moses wasn't coming back, they created what was called a golden calf. That's what they thought. And that's what they made. And then when they made that golden calf, they was going on, and not just one, they made many golden calves. And they went going around saying that with the golden calf, this is the God that brought us out of Egypt. So the Creator told Moses to get from out of his sight. Get from out of his sight. And when he told Moses to get from out of his sight, that's when Moses came down and he had to slay thousands of Israelites. Okay? Because when Moses came down, he dropped the tablets. So now let's gravitate to the whoring. See, Israel went a whoring. Let's go back. Let's read Numbers again. Number 1539. And it shall be unto you a fringe. A fringe. You see? It shall be unto you a fringe. It shall be unto you a fringe. What is a fringe, family? What is a fringe? A fringe. It shall be unto you a fringe. It's a vessels really, but to help you stay meditative in a remembrance. Yeah, yes. A fringe, it shall be a fringe. You're correct. It's going to help you stay meditative, but fringe. Notice what the scripture says. And it shall be unto you a fringe. A fringe. That word fringe means border. It's a border. It's symbolic. It's a border. Fringe means a border. Fringe means a border. Right. That's what it means. That's what it means. It means the border or outer edge of an area or group. That is correct. That fringe represent the border that you're supposed to be in. I want you to pay attention now. That fringe represent that you wear on your clothes. It represent the border or the area for your nation. That's what fringe is for. That's why it says, and it shall be unto you a border or an area. Because when you look at the fringes that you supposed to have on your clothes, it's supposed to represent an area that you're supposed to be in, or a border that you're supposed to be in. See, that's why he said in verse 39, and it shall be for you a fringe. A fringe means a border. That's why he said, put around the fringe a border. It's symbolic of the land that you're going in. And the fringes on your clothes supposed to represent, when you look upon it, you're supposed to be reminded of your borders or the area that you are in. See, that's why when they read that in verse 39, they ran over that. See, it should be a fringe unto you. No. That means just what it means. And it shall be a fringe. It's going to be a border. When you look upon your fringes, it's supposed to remind you of your borders. It's supposed to remind you of the area that you're supposed to be in. You see? See how that work? Shamar, bring me my phone so I can plug it up. Huh? Right there in the front. And it shall be a border. It's supposed to represent your border. That's what it's supposed to represent, a border, your border. That when you look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Creator. What was the first commandment? What was the first commandment? Put it in the chat, somebody. What was the first commandment? You're supposed to remember all the commandments. Those commandments are in a border. Those commandments was given to a specific and for a specific area. What's the first commandment? Anybody? Nope. That's not the first commandment, Brother Trey. What is the first commandment? Remember coming out of Egypt by the Creator. Yeah, but that's not the first commandment. This is the commandment. This is the first commandment. This is the first commandment right here. I am the Lord thy God. That's a comma right after that. And then the next part is, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. That's the next part that goes with I am the Lord thy God. Why is that the first commandment? Why is it the first commandment when he say, I am the Lord thy God? Why is that the first commandment when he say, I am the Lord thy God? Because you know why? Because remember, Israel made many golden calves and said, after when they made them, this is the God that brought us out of the land of Egypt. I am is the first commandment. I am is the first commandment. That's the first thing that Israel had to learn. I am the creator, your power. I am. See, because they came out of Egypt with multiple thoughts. They never let Egypt go. On the way to the promised land, that's why it took them 40 years. Because they could not wrap their minds in one particular border. Even though they was on the way to the promised land, which would be their border, but they still was thinking about Egypt, the border that they came from. And that's the reason why that's the first commandment. I am the creator, your power. Meaning the creator don't belong to anyone else. He has no covenant with no one else like he have with you. You see? Israel was sharing their thoughts going home and coming from captivity. They were sharing. I hope y'all catching this. They were sharing their thoughts And the first commandment is there is no sharing when it comes to the Creator. It is one and that's it. I hope y'all catching this. You don't share your border with no one. You don't share your area with everybody. That's your area. That belongs to you. But Israel was bringing Egypt to the promised land. And that's the reason why he gave them the fringe law. Because the fringes was supposed to represent the commandments, and the border of blue represents it goes around the area that the commandments dwells in. See, we think the Creator dwells all over the place. How they say in church, I know you sit high and look low, like the Creator looking at everything. The Creator ain't looking at everything. He's not looking at everything. Give me 1 second. So it represents the border of your area. That's why he says it shall be a fringe. And he says, and you're going to do them. But you're going to do the commandments in the area where you're supposed to do them at. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So you're supposed to have the fringes represents your border. And the first part of your border you're supposed to be in is knowing that there's only one God. Israel had multiple gods. There was no son. There was none of this. No triune God. There was only one. He said, look, it's only me. Because Israel made more than one golden calf. You can look the story up, read it for yourself. Read it for yourself. Read it for yourself. He was letting them know there's only one. Because Israel made multiple. And that's why he says in the second part, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Because not multiple gods brought you out. It was only one God that brought you out. And your mind's supposed to stay inside of a border. Your mind do not go outside that border. But Israel was bringing another border into that border. This is what was going on. This is what was going on. This is what was going on. So he said this should be a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Creator and do them. And that ye seek not after your own what? Heart and your own eyes, which you have what? You used to do. He said that you used to go a whoring. Because that's where they went a whoring at, in the wilderness. When they made the golden calf. So then he says what? That you may remember and do all my commandments and be what? Holy unto your what? Power. See, it's about remembering. It's what makes you holy. The fringe is only supposed to remind you of your border. The border that you and your mind supposed to be in. That's what the fringe is for. The fringe supposed to remind you the border that you're supposed to think within. That's it. Because Israel was outside. They were bringing things outside, inside. I'm going to say it again. They were bringing things from the outside inside. So the Creator was reminding them, you have a border. I'm taking you to a border. I'm taking you to a specific area. And that specific area is holy. You nor your mind supposed to go outside that area. You're supposed to stay within the frame of that area. Now, let's keep cooking. Verse 41, he says, I am the Creator, your power, which brought you out of the what? The land of Egypt, to be your power. I am the Lord, your power. See, he brought Israel out to be their God. Not all over the place, but in a specific place. But Israel had the mind to bring things from the outside inside. And the Creator say, no. I cannot be your God if you're going to incorporate things from the outside to bring it inside. This area that I'm bringing you in is supposed to be holy. That land's supposed to be holy. Your mind supposed to be what? Holy. So the fringe law is only, it's a border. It's supposed to remind you, it's supposed to remind you of the border that you're supposed to be in, that you're supposed to remember the law in. So now let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30. Because you're supposed to remember within a particular area. You don't supposed to be remembering all over the place. That's what the fringes are for, to remind you of your border. It's symbolic of how you think. That's why it says it shall be a fringe. It's supposed to remind you that your mind's supposed to be in a particular area. It's supposed to be focusing on particular things. Your mind, your thoughts supposed to have a border. Your thoughts do not supposed to go outside that border. That's what the fringe law is about. When you went home, when Israel went home, Israel stayed wicked because they allowed what was outside that was already there to stay inside. I'm going to say it again. When Israel went home and they got in the land, the Creator told them, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Deuteronomy 7th chapter. He's outside. He's outside. Deuteronomy the 7th chapter. And you can see it on the screen. This is what it says. With the Creator, your power shall bring thee into the land, whether thou goest to possess it. It has cast out many nations before thee. Notice he says, and cast out many nations before thee, meaning that those nations have already been defeated before you got there. The Creator have already anchored the Canaanites and the 7 nations that were there. They were already defeated before you got there. The Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, the 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. The Creator has already defeated them before you even got there. Verse 2, he says, and with the Creator, your power shall deliver them before you. They were already defeated because nothing that's wicked can sit inside of your borders because your borders supposed to be holy. And if anything that's wicked in your borders is going to cause your mind to go outside the border, to think wicked. So the Creator already defeated the 7 nations. But you're just doing the cleanup. So he says, thou shalt smite them and utterly what? Destroy them. Utterly destroy them. And he said, thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show them mercy. So you don't show mercy unto them. Because they are inside of your border. So when you go into your border, you put them out. If they don't want to leave, you destroy them utterly. But guess what? Israel didn't do that. He said, neither shall thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters, thou shalt not give unto them their sons, and thy daughter and his daughter shall thou take unto your sons. You don't, no. Let they women stay over there, and your men stay over there, as well as your women over here, and their men over there. They all got to be killed. This is what the Creator say. Don't make no covenant with them. Covenant means marriage. Everything inside of your borders must be clean. See, the Creator was showing Israel physically how they're supposed to have been thinking mentally. But let's keep cooking. Verse 4. For they will turn away thy sons from what? Following me. See, that was one of the biggest concerns the Creator had, because they don't belong inside of your borders. They don't belong there. Everything that's outside needs to go outside. Everything that's supposed to be inside needs to stay inside. The 7 nations were out on the outside, so you're supposed to push them out of your borders. He said, they're gonna stop you. They're gonna stop your sons from following me, that they may what? Serve other gods. Something from the outside is now going to creep on the inside. Your borders supposed to be inside holy. That's what the fringes are there for. It represents your area. It represents your territory. It represents the way you're supposed to border your thinking. Because Israel was bringing Egypt to the promised land. And so now the Creator is telling Israel, when you get into the land, you got another obstacle. Nations that have already built up your land. They live in there and they're comfortable. You cannot allow them to stay there. Utterly destroy them. Do not mix marriages with them. They're not from the land. They are from the outside. And they do not follow me. And if you don't destroy them and you make covenants, they're going to make your children follow something on the outside. For they will turn your sons from following me, that they may what? Serve other gods. So will the anger of the Creator be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. When you bring something from the outside, inside is going to anger the Creator. Your thoughts supposed to be holy. Inside. My thoughts don't supposed to be running all over the place. My thoughts supposed to have a border around it. Verse 5. But thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, break down their images, and cut down their what? Their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. Why? It's because that's not yours. It's not yours. Anything on the outside that's inside has to be destroyed. Verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Creator, your power. You are a holy people. And anything from the outside will come in and stop that holiness. It will stop it. It will stop you from being chosen. It will stop you being special to the Creator, because why? You allow something outside to come in and taint inside. Now you look like everybody else. So what becomes special about you? Oh, I'm Israel, but you got something from the outside inside, so the Creator can't dwell there no more. So what makes you special? Because I just sat there and told you earlier, Israel made more than one golden calf. But the first commandment that the Creator gave Israel is, I am the Lord thy God. But you listen to some of these camps, they believe in multiple gods. And they bring multiple gods among you. Which will defile you. Brother Trey say, what if people are thinking about doing bad but doesn't act on it? Then what good is it if you don't act on it? What good is it? Because just to give you a story, when they defeated Jericho, the Creator told them not to bring nothing from that city out of it. But Achan took the sacred things and hid it underneath his tent. He brought something from the inside out. He brought it from the outside. He brought it from the inside out and put it inside the camp, which caused the whole camp to be what? Disturbed. So then what took place after that? They had to get the camp. They had to get the sin from out of the camp. They had to get it from inside and take it on the outside. They had to kill it. So thinking on something and doing it, if I think on it and I do it, you can repent. Even if you do it, you still can repent. But you got to understand, the way I think, if I bring it inside, because your thinking also taint the inside as well. It taints the borders. You see? It taints the borders. Or what about doing good and doesn't act on it? Does that matter as well? Yes, that matters. Because if you know to do good, the Bible, those who know better ought to do better. So if you know that you're supposed to do something and you don't do it, then yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad. I'm not going to even dignify that question. So it's supposed to be a border. That's the reason why Israel could not defeat their enemies. It's because Israel kept everything that was supposed to have been destroyed inside. So what good was the fringes? What good was the fringes if they kept everything that was supposed to have been outside inside? What good was the fringes? So he said, "You are holy people. You are chosen people. You are special people." He said, "Unto himself, above all people upon the face of the earth." But that can only be when you are inside of your border. That's physically and that's mentally. So let's keep going. The Creator said in verse 7, the Creator did not set his love upon you, nor chose you because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people. You were the fewest. of all people. Look at verse 8. Because the Creator loved you, and because he would what? Keep the oath which he has sworn unto your who? Fathers. Nor stay within his boundaries of mind. Shem stayed within his boundary of mind. Abraham stayed within the boundaries of his mind. Isaac stayed within the boundaries of what? His mind. So he's going to so he's telling you, I'm remembering the covenant that I made with your fathers. See, the Creator, he's not going outside saying, well, you know what? I remember somebody else other than Abraham or Noah or Shem. No, he goes through that lineage. He stays within that border. He don't come out of that border. He stays within that border. And that's why he says what? He says, because thou hast loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto who? Your fathers. That border. That the Lord had brought thee out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the what? House of bondmen. From the what? The hand of Pharaoh of Egypt. Notice he still keep reminding you of Egypt. He still keep reminding you of Egypt. Because Israel was bringing Egypt to the promised land. And he had to remind them that when you get into the promised land, you got to remove what was already there out. And then notice what he says. And notice what they had said. Oh, you got to do it throughout your generations. But this is why he said that in verse 9. Know therefore that the Creator, your power, is your power. The faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. That's why he says throughout your generations. Because the Creator ain't breaking covenant. So he says that the fringes law is going to be a fringe to you. What fringe means? A border. What border was he talking about? He was talking about the land, and he was talking about your mind. That's what he was talking about. So he says this is going to be throughout all generations, 1,000 generations. So the Creator is looking for who? You, your seed, your seed, your seed, and so on to stay within the borders. But because we already know Israel is hard-headed, but because we know Israel is what? It's wicked. We know they're not going to think all the time about law. We already know that. We already know that. We already know that. Moses, he showed Moses that. Israel's not going to stay within the mindset because Israel's wicked. Israel's hard-headed. Israel's stubborn. Did they kill the Canaanites like they supposed to? No. Did they kill the 7 nations like they supposed to? No. See, Israel didn't do what they supposed to have done, but they expect their borders to be holy. That's why Brother Shah was stiff-necked and wicked. Give me 1 second, 1 second. Israel's wicked, stubborn, and stiff-necked. Let me stop sharing. And let me go here. Let's go to Isaiah, the 1st chapter. Let's go to Isaiah, the 1st chapter. Isaiah, the 1st chapter. And it says, the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, and Ahaz, and Hezekiah, king of Judah. Verse 2, hear, O heaven, and give ear, O earth, for the Creator has spoken. I have what? Nourished and brought up the children, and they have what? Rebelled against me. See? He's telling you Israel rebelled. He brought them up out of Egypt, and they rebelled. See, Israel did all they whoring in the wilderness all the way to the promised land. And in the promised land. You see? Israel rebelled against the Creator. Where was the fringes then that was on their garments? See, it wasn't so much the fringes that was on your garments, it was the mindset that Israel was supposed to have had. It was the mindset. And every time Israel rebelled, 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 because they allowed everything inside that was supposed to have been on the outside. Verse 3, the ox knows his owner, and the what? The ass his master's crib. But Israel do not know, my people do not consider. When did Israel lose the identity of themselves? When did Israel realize or stop realizing they're supposed to have followed the Creator? When did Israel culture become unbalanced, where they don't even realize the border of themselves? See, when the Creator told Israel to destroy those 7 nations, but they allow some of them to live among them, and then these people pay tribute to them. When a tribute is a tax, that's a covenant. And the Creator say, well, since you did not destroy them all, they're going to be a thorn in your side forever. So now something that's supposed to have been pushed on the outside, Israel allowed to stay inside and buffer them. How can you serve the Creator when you are being buffed? How can you do it? How can you do it? Where was the fringes then? When they were supposed to kill the Canaanites utterly, where was the fringes? We didn't supposed to mix marriages with them, right? How about Uriah, the Hittite, was inside of the military, but he was a high-ranking military that was in David's army. How did a foreigner that was supposed to be killed become a high-ranking general inside of Israel's army if they didn't have covenants with these people? Married to an Israelite woman, Bathsheba. How did that take place? How did that take place? See, Israel got to a point where they allowed everything inside and they forgot the mind that they were supposed, the border of their mind that they were supposed to be in. They forgot. They forgot. So then verse 4 say, sinful nation, people laden with iniquity. A seed of what? Evildoers. Children that are what? Corrupters. They have what? Forsaken the Creator. They have what? Provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They have gone away what? Backwards. So now where's Israel borders at now? They got no fringes. But where's Israel's borders? Israel got beyond themselves and started serving everything on the outside when they had no control of themselves inside. Everything that they were supposed to have done, pushed everything inside that was there illegally, they were supposed to either destroy it or push it on the outside. So as that they can now set up shop and allow and deem the land to be holy in order for the presence of the Creator to dwell there. But Israel didn't do that. Israel didn't do that. Israel didn't do that. Because they were thinking out the box, out the border, not in the border. See, the fringe is only supposed to remind you of the border of your mind you're supposed to be in and the border that you physically supposed to be in. But the Creator knew Israel was wicked because we read it right here in Isaiah. So he gave this to Moses, Deuteronomy the 30th chapter. Deuteronomy 30, let's start at verse 1. He gave this to Israel. Through Moses. Because see, we think that, I got to have these fringes. The fringes doesn't make you holy. The fringes don't identify you as an Israelite. It doesn't. What identify you as an Israelite is when you are a nation. That's why the Bible says, my people are destroyed. My people, that's plural. If my people who are called by my what? Name, that's plural. He said he haven't known no other nation but Israel. That's plural. So you cannot be Israel unless you're a nation. And watch this. Being a certain color doesn't make you Israel. Because being a nation, Psalms 83, come let us cut them off from being what? A nation. That's plural. What identify you as an Israelite? is when, number one, you become a nation. And what makes a nation? Individuals. So when I see you, what identify you to me as you being an Israelite? Deuteronomy 32:7. Let's grab that real quick. Deuteronomy 32:7. Fringes does not identify me being a bloodline. But all of a sudden, now I just wear a fringe. I wear fringes on my clothes. Now I'm an Israelite. Because I got fringes on. I can, oh man, who you study with? It ain't about who I study with. It's the bloodline that I come from. See, who I study with, that sounds like a religion. But who is your family? That sounds like a bloodline. See, fringes shows you your border. Mentally and physically. And your border supposed to represent your family. That's why the brother said in the video, he saw a brother with some fringes on. He said, oh man, shalom, shalom, brother, who you study with? Notice he never said, who is your people? Because we're going to go to Tobit in a minute. We're going to go to the book of Tobit. And let's see if Tobit identify this brother by fringes or by bloodline. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32. Let's go to 7 real quick. Deuteronomy 32:7. It says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. How do I consider the days of old in generations that passed? You go through your bloodline. You pull up old pictures. You talk to your elders. You pull up records. But the brother in IUIC video, he didn't do that. He said, oh, I identified that he was an Israelite through his fringes. And he asked him, who you study with, brother? Shalom, shalom, brother. Who you study with? Doesn't matter who I study with. He says, ask your fathers, and he will show you, and your elders, and they will tell you. And you think elders are talking about people in these groups. No, the elders are talking about your family members, the older family members. Because somebody in your family got the history of your bloodline. But see, we don't believe that. Because see, we think it's about, oh man, we think it's about a fringes. I got to have the fringes around my clothes. But where were the fringes when Israel got put into captivity into Syria? Where was the fringes then? Where was the fringes that they had to think, that they had to look upon when Babylon came and took them into captivity? Where was the fringes at then? Glendon, Kanaya said, teach brother, don't know a bunch of black people from the lineage of Jacob become white. Appreciate the comment, family. Appreciate the comment. Jacob is never white. You got to go back home. You can't identify me as being an Israelite because I got on cloth around my clothes. You can't identify me as an Israelite like that. So now you telling me you can identify my bloodline and my elders? I don't have to talk to none of my elders? Like according to the law say, talk to my elders? So now all of a sudden, talking to my elders, the fringes bypass all the elders, right? Let's go to the book of Tobit. Let's go to Tobit, the 5th chapter. Let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. Tobit, the 5th chapter. I'm going to pull it up right here. The book of Tobit, the 5th chapter. Let's see if Tobit recognized this brother through fringes, or did he ask his brother, where's your fringes? Or did he ask his brother about his bloodline? Let's go to the book of Tobit. Let's go to the book of Tobit, the 5th chapter. We're going to start at verse 1 and we're going to read down to verse 10. We only supposed to, fringes don't make me identify you as an Israelite. You just got on cloth around your shirt. Because I'm going to ask you about your family. Let's start at the book of Tobit, the 5th chapter. Let's start at verse 1. Tobias then answered and said, Father, I will do all things which thou hast commanded me. But how can I receive the money, seeing I know him not? Okay? Tobit is having a conversation with his father. Tobias, Tobias is having a conversation with his father, Tobit. Okay? So verse 3. Then he gave him the handwriting and said unto him, seek thee a man which may go with thee while I yet live, and I will give him wages and go and receive the money. So Tobit said, you know what? Because Tobit wanted his son Tobias out of Nineveh before it fell. Because Tobit's wife, I believe at this time, had already passed. She died. So he was telling his son Tobias, look, go find somebody, and if they qualify, I will pay them to get you out. Verse 4, therefore, when he went to seek a man, he found Raphael, that was an angel, but he knew not. And he said unto him, can thou goeth with me to Rages, and knowest thou those places well? Verse 6, to whom the angel said, I will go with thee, and I know the way well, for I have lodged with our brother Gabriel. Verse 7, then Tobias said unto him, tarry for me till I tell my father. Then he said unto him, go and tarry not. So he went in and said to his father, behold, I have found one which will go with me. Then he said, call him unto me, that I may know of what tribe he is, and whether he is what? A trustworthy man to go with thee. Tobit wanted to know the tribe. Tribe represents lineage, family. Tobit wasn't thinking about no cloth around his garments. Verse 9, so he called him in, and he came in, and they saluted one another. Then Tobit said unto him, brother, show me of what tribe and family thou art. Why you didn't say, show me your fringes? Show me your fringes on the border. Show me the fringes in the border blue on your garments. Why you didn't tell him that? Why you didn't ask him that? He asked him about his family. Why you didn't say, show me your fringes on your garments to see if you're an Israelite? You know the law says in Numbers 15 that you got to keep a border blue around your garments throughout your generations. Why you didn't tell him that? He wanted to know the tribe and family he was from. He was doing Deuteronomy 32 and 7. Why he wasn't doing Numbers 15? Why he wasn't doing that? But he was doing Deuteronomy 32 and 7. You see? Why he wasn't doing Deuteronomy 32 and 7? He was doing Deuteronomy 32 and 7, but he was not doing Numbers 15. Why? Verse 38 through 40. Because the fringes is the remembrance of your border. And your fathers and your elders remind you of your borders. Sister Latoya G said Nehemiah 75. And when the Creator put into my heart to gather together the nobles and the rulers and the people, that they might be what? Reckoned by genealogy. And I found a register of the what? Genealogy of them which came up at the first, and found written therein, this was always the way. Correct. See what I'm going to remember when I look at those, when I have on ribbon of blue. I got to remember bloodline. I got to remember land. Bloodline. Land. Land. Bloodline. So if you got on fringes and I come and ask you your bloodline, you should be able to tell it to me. Not know who you study with. See, because you had converts converting to the physical law, but they could never convert to blood. And you had converts on the inside of the land, but they can never be the house. That's why Joshua say, as for me and my house, because that's his border. The fringes only remind me of my territory, the area that I'm supposed to stay in. I can't come to your house and tell you you're an Israelite. I can only ask you your bloodline. And if your bloodline pan out to be Israel, then shalom. But this is what happens. See, the fringes, according to these camps, wipe out your family. Don't go to your family. Just listen to us. See, you wear fringes, you're an Israelite. See, we don't go by Deuteronomy 32. We don't do that. No. We don't do that. Because now we're your family. We're your family now. See, your family in the church, now see, they wicked. You don't talk to them, you talk to us, because we live according to the Bible. Show me that in the Bible, where it tells you to ignore your elders because they're in the church. Dealing with your bloodline. Tell me, show me that. How are you going to remember the generations of old that your blood came through if you ignore those who was before you still living and you gather no information from them? But you think this Bible tells you everything about you, but you ignore the ones that was before you. I say, I don't talk to them because see, they're in the church. You wicked as hell. The Bible tells you to go back and talk to your elders. The Bible ain't never told you to ignore your elders. It didn't tell you. Show me where Abraham, whom y'all claim, that's our forefather, ignore his father who was sitting there celebrating gods. Show me where Abraham ignored his father. In fact, Abraham, he investigated what his father was doing. He never got involved, but he investigated it. And then when Abraham left, did he not take his father with him? Did Abraham not take his father with him? Yes, he did. Until his father died in the land of Haran. Because his father is history. His grandfather was history. His great-grandfather is history. Just because your elders serve another God don't mean they don't know the history of themselves. The Bible never told you to go celebrate the gods with that your forefathers celebrate. He just told you to go back home and get the history from them. He didn't tell you to make up a history. He told you to go back home and get the history. Because that's your border. How you come outside your border and bring something back inside your border? You ignore your border, but you claim you got fringes around your shirt. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. Let's go to Psalms 51. That's why Numbers 15 and 39 said, this shall be a fringe, a border. You run past that. The fringes represent a border. Psalms 51. You got on something around your garments, but you ignore the Bible. The Creator said, I am one. Why? Because Israel had multiple gods. They had multiple golden calves. The Creator had to let Israel know there's no multiple with me. It's only one. But you believe in multiple gods. You think that there's a separate son of God other than the nation of Israel. But you don't, but you think your fringes is going to help you around your shirt? When you can't even remember the first commandment. You can't even remember to go back home. A lot of you, I remember when I was a part of that group. And they asked me my last name, and I gave them my last name. They talk about, oh, you come from that plantation. They dumb as I don't know what. They dumb as a bunch of rocks. So the white man, according to them, came over here with all the names. Your people didn't have no names. They didn't have no names. But your people adopted every white man name. And if you go over in England, half of those names in other words, they stole everything from you, but somehow you got everything from them. This is wow. So Psalms 51, make sure y'all press that like button, family. Make sure y'all press the like button, man. If y'all new to the chat, make sure y'all press that subscribe button if you like what you're hearing. And share this page if you like somebody to also hear it. But make sure you press that, you smash that like button for the brother family. Psalms 51, starting at verse 1. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquities and cleanse me from my sins. For I acknowledge my what? Transgressions, and my sins is ever before me. He ain't hiding nothing. But watch what he say in verse 4. Against you only. Why he didn't say against y'all? If there's such thing as a triune God, why he didn't say against y'all? I am the Lord thy God. Against you only have I sinned and done this evil in my sight, that thou mightest be what? Justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judge. See, David had to realize it's nothing but one God. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward part. I desire truth in the inward part. That's a border. And in the hidden part, thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Another border. Because he's talking about his mind. Purge me with hyssops, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. That's a mindset. Hide thy face from my sins and blot out all my iniquities. It's a mindset, family. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Heart means mind. And renew a right spirit within me. Not within Israel, within me. Because how I was born is what caused me to be this way now. Bloodline. See, David was letting the Creator know he realized he cannot go above his bloodline. His bloodline messed him up from the beginning. So he's willing, if the Creator will, change. But he's not trying to go above his bloodline. But he realized it starts with him. It ain't got nothing to do with no fringes around your garments. Those garments, fringes, only remind you of the border mentally and physically. That's it. When Israel went home, they had their borders they supposed to stay in. That's it. And when wherever Israel went, their mind was supposed to have been bordered by the law. That's it. Let me prove my point. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter now, finally. Because the Creator already knew that Israel's going to mess up. Creator already knew that. He already knew. So he prepared Moses to tell them, you may physically lose your border like Israel did. The land put them out. And you may mentally, Salakia, you may mentally lose your borders of your customs. Israel did. Because a lot of things got mixed up with Israel because Israel refused to be separated like the Creator told them to before they went in the land. They allowed things that did not supposed to dwell in the land. They were supposed to put it out, but they allowed it to stay inside. They allow it to stay inside, which caused languages to be diverted, cultures to be integrated. Which caused Israel to stay in sin. So Deuteronomy 30th chapter. Let's start at verse 1. And it says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse. These things going to come upon you. You know why it's going to come upon you? Because you're going to learn both sides. You're going to learn both sides, family. You're going to learn both sides. You're going to learn the blessing part and you're going to learn the curse part. So you ain't going to have no excuse that knowing you're going to know what it means and what it feels like to be outside of your border mentally and physically. You're going to learn that. This is what's going to make you a great nation. You're going to learn it. Now, the problem is, do you want, once when you realize that you experience both sides, being outside the border and being inside the border physically and mentally. The problem is, and the question is, do you want to stay outside or are you ready to come back inside? Because you're going to experience both sides. The Bible says, which I have set before thee. Moses say, the Creator said, he set these things before you. You going to experience both sides. Being in the border and being outside the border, mentally and physically. So you ain't gonna have no excuse saying, well, I ain't knew nothing about that. No. You gonna learn both sides. And that's the reason why Israel went into Egypt, to learn both sides of the coin. That's the reason why the Creator say he's going to take you in, he's going in with you, and he's going to bring you out, and he's coming out with you. You're going to learn both sides of the coin. You can't be great if you only know one side. You're going to know both sides. See how that work? He set that thing right before your face. But it's your choice. Once when you come out, are you going to continue which side of the border you want to what? Dwell on. When Israel came out, they were trying to bring Egypt with them. The Creator said, hell no. Even some of them tried to bring Jericho with them. The Creator said, hell no. Then when they got into the land, before they got into the land, the Creator said, I already destroyed them. All y'all got to do is be the cleanup man. And Israel got in there, and they saw some of the beautiful women. Some of the beautiful women saw some of the handsome men, and they said, oh, hell no. And the creator said, okay, fine. They're gonna be a thorn on your side. Israel said, all right, we'll take a chance. And after a while, the land put them out. So Israel learning both sides of the coin. And he says, and thou shalt call them to mind among the nations. Rather where you go. What do it mean to call to mind among the nations? We're going to be spread it out. Some of y'all novice camps talking about we all over the earth, the 4 globes. We all over the earth. Some of us on the moon, some of us all on Mars and all that. That's what y'all believe. Spaceships coming down and gonna beam us up. Beam me up, Scotty. Yo, I ain't get that's a side note. Anyway, we're gonna be among our enemies. And the question is, I physically can't be in my border, but mentally I can. I'm gonna call to mind. I know both sides of the coin. Through my ancestors, through my what? Father, elder, grandmother, grandfather. I knew both sides of the coin. Whereas that I realized my border should not stretch all over the place. My border stretches in my house. That's why Jeremiah say, build houses and live in them and plant vineyards and eat from them. Even though you're in captivity, you're supposed to be still having a border. But we done got comfortable being assimilated with your enemy. And you think putting on fringes around your clothes is a call to mind? Brothers, sisters, even the Indians that they were saying, they say, even the Native Americans, they had on fringes too. That's right. They did not destroy a nation by taking their fringes away from them. They destroy our nation by destroying the family. They ain't give a damn about your fringes. Because if I can say, I'm going to put fringes around my clothes, and it's now who I study with is my family, but you say, F your grandmother, F my grandmother and grandfather, I ain't got to ask them crap. The nations around you won. Because the Bible says, remember all the commandments and do them. Deuteronomy 32:7. Go home. It ain't tell you to look at no freaking poster. Unless that poster is a part of the records inside of genealogy, the posters is garbage. And if a man showing you a poster telling you this is who you are, that's your enemy. I don't care about fringes around his clothes. That's your enemy. How Psalms 83 can take place if your enemy don't dress like you? What do you call spies? I'm supposed to go home and talk to family. I'm supposed to go home and learn my lineage. That's how you realize who you are. Tobit wasn't looking at no fringes. Tobit was worrying about the tribe and family that that person came from. You can say, well, that was an angel. It didn't matter. He questioned an angel. What the hell tribe you come from? Where your family at? Nehemiah, show me your paperwork. That's what it was about. It wasn't about all this other stuff. You're going to call to mind your borders. And they're going to realize, oh, the family waking up. They destroyed the family. They destroy your bloodline. Half of you probably don't even care about your own bloodline. You didn't even do the research on it. We don't even have family reunions no more. So the bloodline can be passed down to the younger people. That board is destroyed. They got you worried about who you study with and not the bloodline you come from. Think about that. But we call to mind whether wherever we went, we show our borders. We was cursed when the family wasn't together. But we're going to bring the family back together in order for us to be blessed, even while we are in captivity. Huh? It's the way I think, the things I follow. See? Verse 2. And thou shalt return unto the Creator your power. See? After when you call to mind, you learn both sides. You're supposed to return back to the Creator, your power, and obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. You got to follow everything the Creator commanded. When he tell you that he's one, why you come up with multiple? When he tell you to go home, why are you sitting there giving me a poster board? You see? So if you're doing the very opposite, then tell me what the clothes fringe is for. He says, command this day, thou and thy children. See, you and your children. How do your children know the lineage of themselves if you ignore the elders of the family? How they gonna know the lineage of themselves if you don't have family reunions no more? How they gonna know how do they supposed to know themselves, who they are, the bloodline that they come from, the lineage, the borders of themselves? How are they supposed to learn that? How? He said, you and your children. You and your children. That's a bloodline. With all your heart and with all your soul. He said, you got to really be in this thing. This is not a part-time thing. It has to be in you. Verse 3. Then the Creator. your power will what? Turn your captivity and compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Creator has scattered thee. Let me show you what that means. If your blood, if you return your bloodline, if you right now, if I stand on my bloodline, I make my borders known. In my family, make they make their borders known. And then you make your borders known. We ain't talking about putting on no fringes. We talk about family. And the family in the house begins to resurrect. And we begin to realize that we are an agriculture people. We deal with nature. They system will fall. That's what it means. He's going to gather you. Because we're going to be dealing with one another. See, they don't want you to deal with each other in economics. They want you to continue to deal with them. That's why they put all the stores, the businesses, the restaurants, and all that around you so you can take your money and give it to them. You don't practice economics with each other. You practice economics with them, and they take all the money from the community. And you wonder why the community is broke. Because when you pay your taxes, they don't pipe that money back to your community. They pipe it around it. Build up everything around it. And you look at your community, it's ragged as hell. Roads are crappy. Houses dilapidated. And then next thing you know, they sell all the stuff around you for cheap, and then they raise up the property taxes. Bam, it's over. Because you know why? You forgot. Or it wasn't ever told to you. But when you bring family back, and I'm talking about family really come back, and they start seeing family thrive in the houses again, that's when he said he's going to turn your captivity. Because why? We're going to start using our talents in our purpose with one another. And we're going to obsolete them. That's what he means by turning your captivity. And then verse 4 says, and if you be driven out of the what? Outermost parts of the heavens, and there will the Creator gather thee from this and will fetch thee. Meaning, he's going to make sure you build correctly. He's going to make sure all these things happen to you. That's what verse 5 says, and the Creator thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possess. We're going to go back home. Because why? Why will we go back home? Because we got family back together again. Family came back. Family. We're recalling back to mind the borders of our land. Because we brought back the borders of the family. Now we could go back home. Because now we understand what it means to be family and what it means to be home. But if you scared to bring family back, then family, you ain't never gonna go back home. Because family deal with one another. See, right now, family, some people in your family, you can't even get a cold soda from. They'll look at you thirsty and let you die of thirst. Because they put that interest in us. Because we are trying to strive to be with them and not to be with each other. Verse 5. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers have possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will what? Do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. You're going to be great, greater than your forefathers. Because we learned both sides. And we brought back the border, not just mentally, of family, but we're bringing back the borders of the land. Because why? While we're in captivity, we're supposed to be planting anyhow. We're supposed to be trying to eat our own food. Jeremiah told you to plant your own vineyards and eat from them. But if your grocery store is closed right now, you gonna starve. See, when we go home, we're going to be equipped to stay home. But right now, they got you dependent on them. Deuteronomy 28:48. You're going to be in the want of all things, and they're going to go and they're going to put a yoke of iron upon your neck until they have destroyed thee. Because they got you dependent on what? In the want of all things. And verse 6. And the creator of your power will what? Circumcise your what? Heart. And the heart of what? Thy seed, to love the creator with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy what? With all thy mind, that thou mayest live. He gonna circumcise you and your seed. He gonna remove all the things that they try to put in your way mentally. Because things on the outside cannot be inside. And if things was on the inside that don't supposed to be on the inside, need to be utterly destroyed or pushed on the outside. Because it's about being holy, family. And you cannot be holy with things on the outside, inside. Those things outside aren't supposed to be in your borders. In verse 7, and the creator, your power, will put all these curses upon thee, thy enemies, and on them that hated thee, which persecuted thee. Because now, family, when we learn economics amongst one another, and we remove the economics from them, they're not going away. They're going to come and depend on you. They're going to come and depend on you, family. That's what this is about. That's why the Bible says, Israel, he said that if you follow everything that I say, they will call you a blessed nation. What makes you blessed? What makes you blessed? Your mind and your land. That's what makes you blessed. The fringes that the Creator told you to put on your garments is only there to remind you of how you're supposed to think mentally in the land that you're supposed to be living in physically. Once when you remember and recall to mind, fringes are no longer needed on your clothes. You can wear them if you choose. But if your mind is constantly meditating mentally, within your borders, that's your fringe right there. Because the Creator needs your mind to think on the law. And I'm going to close out with this scripture right here. Let's go to Joshua, the 1st chapter. Joshua, the 1st chapter. Starting at verse 1. It says, now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Creator, it took pass that the Creator spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over the Jordan, thou and all the people, unto the land which I do give to thee, to them, even the children of Israel. Every place that thy sole of your foot shall tread upon, that I have what? Given it unto you, as I said unto Moses. From the wilderness and from and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river of Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, unto the great sea, towards the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. Be strong and be of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land which I swore unto the fathers, to their fathers, to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do all according to the law, all the law, which Moses my servant command thee. Turn not to the right, turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, nor that thou mayest what? Prosper whether thou goest. This, hold on, I just lost my place. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. First, I'm gonna start at verse 7. This thing jumped on me. Verse 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do all according to all the law, which Moses my servant command thee. Turn not to the right, turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. Verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. It shall not depart out of your mouth, but thou shalt what? Meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have what? Good success. The border is supposed to be a meditation. If your mind is not constantly meditating on the law, day and night, then things on the outside is on the inside. If the only way you will be prosper or prosperous is through meditation within your borders, mentally. and within your house, physically. So I'm going to hold it up for right here. Fringes, if you choose to wear them, it's supposed to remind you of all the law. Not laws that you choose, but all of them. And the first law is, I am the Lord thy God. If you got multiple gods, what good is your fringes around your clothes? If you ignoring family, what good is the fringes around your clothes? So family, I hope you learned something. Make sure you press that like button if you liking the podcast. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And share if you know someone you need to hear this message. Fringes is mentally and physically. Those are your two borders. Israel got kicked out of the land because of their mental condition. And he was in captivity ever since. The 12 tribes split because of Solomon's mental. So family, this is Moreh Yaakov in ITFTR Network. I say may your Shabbat continue to be peaceful, restful, and relaxful. Wednesday we'll be back talking about Paul. So until then, shalom, and may your Shabbat continue to be peaceful, restful, and relaxful. Shalom.